The story begins with a boy named Hunter sitting on the top of a mountain, watching his friends play in the distance. He wishes he could join them, and to do so, he crosses a boundary, one that was created for a very specific purpose. Suddenly, Hunter feels as if someone or something is following him. Terrified, he starts to run. Whatever was keeps getting closer and closer. But just in time, Hunter manages to cross back inside the line and saves his life. When his father finds out, he scolds him harshly. "I told you not to go there. Why didn't you listen?" he says. The truth is, years ago, when humans conducted dangerous experiments on Earth, they created a hole in the planet's protective shield. Through that opening, terrifying creatures entered. Bullets couldn't stop them. Not even nuclear weapons could destroy them. One by one, they wiped out nearly all of humanity. The last survivors discovered something. These creatures couldn't go beyond a certain altitude. They couldn't cross above 8,000 feet. So now, whatever remains of humanity lives at that height. No one dares to go below. The village where Hunter lives was also built high in the mountains. The people drew a line there, a constant reminder that beyond it, death is waiting. It's been 3 years since all of this began. Hunter is still young. He also suffers from asthma, which makes his father even more protective of him. After realizing the danger he caused, Hunter feels guilty and apologizes to his father. This mountain village is small, home to about 200 people. Everyone has their own role to keep life going. For example, Will and his friend Kate are hunters. On this day, they head into the forest to fulfill their duty. Along the way, Will talks about Hunter's reckless mistake. But Kate defends the boy. "He's just a kid," she says. For him, these mountains feel like a prison. At an age when children are supposed to play, you've locked him within these 4 walls. Kate argued that it was better to let Hunter do what he wanted. "One day, we'll have to face those creatures anyway. Things won't stay like this forever." Her words made sense to Will, though he didn't say much. Meanwhile, back in the village, we see a woman named Nina. She heats bullets in an oven and then fires them at a shield, hoping for a breakthrough. But the results are never what she expects. Still, she refuses to give up and keeps trying over and over. It's clear that Nina has suffered a great loss, something she intends to avenge by killing those creatures. But for now, her bullets are not enough to stop them. On their way back, Kate takes in the quiet world stretched out before them from the mountain. But she knows it wasn't always like this. Once, humans tampered with the creations of God and destroyed everything. Now, apart from the 200 people in this village, no one knows if anyone else has even survived. One night, while Hunter was sleeping, he suddenly fell sick. Will quickly adjusted his oxygen mask, only to realize that this was the last one they had left. That meant he had no choice. He would have to go below the line, or his son would die. But before that, it was Hunter's birthday. Will sold some of his own belongings just to buy him gifts, things the boy truly loved. Yet, even during those moments, Will couldn't shake off the thought that had been haunting him since his talk with Kate. She had told him he would need Nina's help. So Will went to see Nina. Nina told him, years ago, a group of 50 people had once gone down below to try and end this threat. But of all of them, only Nina had returned. She told Will, "Those creatures are immortal. Nothing harms them. During the fight, I managed to grab a piece of their skin. I ran every possible test on it, but no metal, no weapon has ever been able to pierce through it." And now, Will was saying he wanted to go down there. To her, it sounded like suicide. "You're inviting your own death," she warned him. But Will couldn't let his son die. He had to go. Seeing his determination, Nina finally said, "Fine, I can help you with one thing. I'll build you a frequency compass. With it, you'll be able to detect if the creatures are near." She explained that the creatures could sense the carbon dioxide humans exhaled, and that's how they hunted them down. At the very least, the compass would warn him of their presence. The next morning, Will collected some guns and ammunition for Friend. Deep down, he knew they would be useless, but carrying them gave him some comfort. Back at home, he spread out the maps. His destination was clear. He would have to descend to 6,000 feet to an abandoned Boulder hospital. Somewhere inside, he would find what could save his son's life. But the real challenge would begin the moment he stepped beyond the line. When Kate learned that he planned to go alone, she decided to go with him. Later, as they prepared to leave, Nina was already waiting outside, holding the frequency compass she had built. She asked, "Do you know how to use it?" Will smiled faintly. He knew from her expression, Nina had already made up her mind. She wasn't just helping him, she was coming along. And for Nina, this was also a good chance to complete her unfinished revenge. For now, they began their journey. On the way, they saw some army jets lying around like scrap. From them, they took a few useful things and moved ahead. As the three kept moving, the danger grew because Nina could feel that the creature was nearby, and the compass also showed it. Will said they should keep moving without stopping. On the way, they found a resort where cable cars were still hanging, which could take them up or down. So Will started working to turn it on. But just then, Nina sensed it coming. She warned Kate and told her to keep shooting at it, while she went to help Will. But now it was too late, because the creature had already detected them and came running toward Kate. She fired at it many times, but not a single bullet affected it. Now it was about to kill her. But just in time, both of them got the cable car running. Kate struggled to get inside, and while she was still trying, the creature tore apart the cable with its own hands. All three of them fell down. Will told everyone to run back up toward the line. So the three of them ran that way, but the creature was getting closer and closer. At the crucial moment, they jumped and saved their lives. After this incident, Kate became very scared because it was the first time she had seen something like this. She said they should find a path that stays close to the 8,000 feet height so they could reach the hospital that way. Otherwise, the moment they go down, the creature will attack them again. Here, Will was confused about one thing. Why do these creatures only kill humans? He had seen a horse there too, and it also releases carbon dioxide. Then why didn't the creature kill it? It felt as if someone had deliberately planted this programming inside the creatures to only kill humans. Nobody had an answer. Before sleeping, Will thought about his wife, who always wanted to do something for humanity. But these circumstances took her life too. Now Will decided he would not let her sacrifice go to waste. When morning came, they reached a place called Alway Mine, which was around 8,000 feet high and very old. It was actually a coal mine divided into levels because of its great depth. According to government papers, it was once connected to some hospitals and schools so that, in case of a disaster, people could be brought there quickly. As they entered the mine, it was pitch dark, and Kate felt very nervous. But Will calmed her down and told her to stay steady. Moving ahead, they reached the 4th level. But here, the gate was locked, which meant they couldn't go any further. Then Nina told them there was another path, but it went through level 7, and they would have to descend 1,000 feet deeper. So Will said, "You both stay here, I'll go alone." But since they had all come together, they decided they would move ahead together. The three of them began to descend. As they moved deeper, they felt the presence of something nearby. Still, Will didn't stop. Then Nina saw it, standing behind them. They ran immediately and hid inside a cave. The creature followed and tried to sense them with a tentacle, sniffing for breath. The humans held their own breaths, but they couldn't do that forever. Will created a diversion with an explosion and ran. But then they realized Kate had been caught in the creature's grip. Will tried to save her, but she was killed, and the other two survived. Outside, Nina wept over the loss. They had just lost a hunter. Will felt terrible too, because Kate had come to help him and had died because of him. They could not abandon the mission, so they pressed on. They found a car and drove toward the hospital, keeping their speed up so the creature wouldn't detect them. Inside the hospital, they found ruin, destruction everywhere. After 30 minutes of searching, they finally found oxygen filters. Taking them, they hurried away. The creature tracked them and struck at Will many times, but by staying close to walls, they managed to escape each attack. Then Will saw some oxygen cylinders and shot them. The cylinders exploded, throwing the creature back outside. It wasn't dead, but they gained a little time to run. On the way, they passed a national laboratory where all kinds of experiments had been conducted. One project had attempted to create a supercell that could multiply an electric charge fourfold. Nina thought, if she could coat bullets with that material, maybe those rounds could kill the creature. Meanwhile, a photo fell into Will's hands, one that showed Nina's entire family. She had worked here once. When Will asked about them, she said her family had been killed when everything began. Her 13-year-old son was attacked while playing football, and her husband never returned from a trip. It always pained her that she never even saw her family one last time. Nina tells Will that he has to go because his son needed the filter. If he didn't get it, his son would die. Nina insists she would continue her tests here. Will doesn't want to leave her alone, but he knows he has no other choice. So he pushed the car to full speed and tried to go back up, but an accident forced him to continue on foot. More creatures chased him, and the wolf found himself surrounded on all sides. He fired many shots, but none did any damage. Exhausted, he closed his eyes, ready to give up. Then a shot rang out, and the creatures dispersed like smoke. The shot had been fired by Nina. Using the supercell material, she had made rounds that generated massive electrical charge. When mixed with the heat of the bullet, they became far more lethal. One by one, the creatures collapsed under those rounds. Even Will was stunned at what he saw. When Hunter saw his father return, he was overjoyed. A battle cry followed because now they had the weapon that could fight back and avenge their loved ones. They broadcast the recipe over radio and raised flags. People everywhere began producing the liquid and crafting the rounds. One by one, the dangerous creatures were defeated. Slowly, the world began to return to what it had once been. And with that, the story ends here.